Some more news broke today about the rampant abuse and profiteering in the so-called rebuilding of Afghanistan. A small Department of Defense task force that was charged with developing the Afghan economy spent nearly $150 million on private villas, security guards, and luxury meals between 2010 and 2014. Quote, from 2009 until it was disbanded this year, the program was entrusted with rebuilding post-war Afghanistan's business infrastructure, receiving roughly $766 million from Congress to do so. Amazingly, former employees told investigators that the $150 million spent on accommodations in Afghanistan, fully 20% of the task force's total budget, supported no more than 5 to 10 employees. Members of the task force could have stayed at military facilities for little or no charge, or they could have lived at the U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan for an estimated cost of $1.8 million in 2014. All right, understand what I just told you. 5 to 10 people living in Afghanistan over 4 years on food and housing. They spent $150 million. I'm going to repeat that. 5 to 10 people in Afghanistan spent on food and housing $150 million over just 4 years. You want to talk about waste and likely fraud and abuse and hosing the taxpayers because you can, because it's war profiteering? I've never seen a clearer example than this right here. And this is something, there's been documentaries on this, post the invasion of Iraq and obviously post the invasion of Afghanistan as well, where we learned that there were people, officials from the U.S. government or private contractors in Afghanistan who were driving around in Escalades. They would charge taxpayers, like over $10 a can for a can of Coke when it came to our soldiers drinking them. I mean, this is out and out a clear example of war profiteering. And it is rampant. So here's my fear, and this isn't really just a fear because it's kind of been proven true from all the reports that have come out about this, that this isn't like a fringe example of, hey, most of the money was going to decent stuff, but there are these few bad apples who did X, Y, and Z. No, this is the rule. The exception would be if anybody actually did what they were supposed to do and got paid the right amount and there wasn't waste, fraud, and abuse. This is the rule. Remember, guys, billions of dollars went missing in Afghanistan for one and in Iraq for another. It just went missing. Hey, where'd those $1 billion go? Oh, nobody knows. Man, we lost it. How do you lose $1 billion? How do you lose $1 million? This is your money. For everybody listening that's in the U.S., which is most of the audience, this is your money. This is your tax dollars. This is what it's going towards. And then they have the nerve to tell you, universal college, universal health care, don't be ridiculous. We can't afford it. You can't afford that. But you can afford this. You can afford wasting billions upon billions of dollars, and some would argue, including myself, that the entire fucking project was a waste from day one. Take the war in Iraq. We know that Saddam Hussein did not attack us on 9/11. He had nothing to do with 9/11, so we waged an illegal war on the wrong country and then occupied that country for well over a decade. We're still there today. And how much did that cost? When you stretch out and add the interest payments too, because it's paid for with borrowed money, how much will that war have cost in 2053? As of today, we've spent a little over $2 trillion. What will it be by 2053? $7 trillion. $7 trillion on one gigantic clusterfuck and mistake. And many, many people got very, very rich off this, so it wasn't a mistake to them. They're happy, and their wallets are fat. But you're getting hosed. You know who else got hosed? The people of Afghanistan and Iraq. The innocent civilians who were killed. Smedley Butler said it, man. War's a racket. You know, I believe that a lot of these people in the government thought they were doing the right thing, or they rationalized it and they justified it as we're spreading freedom and democracy, even though obviously they're not doing that. So they think they're the good guy, but in reality, all the gross influences and incentives in the background push them in the wrong direction, where it became more about greed and power and control and imperialism and corporate hegemony, and it is disgusting. And again, you're paying for it. I'm paying for it. Not in my name, man. Not anymore. I can't stand this. We're wasting all this money for no good reason. And meanwhile, we're falling apart at the seams here. Our infrastructure's fucked up. No universal health care, no universal education. People need jobs. The minimum wage isn't even a living wage. They can't turn the fucking water on in Detroit. We covered that story. They said we can't afford it. We can do this, spend $7 trillion on a war, but not drinking water for your citizens? Ha ha, don't be ridiculous. This is a sick joke. This is a sick joke. And not only should we put an end to it, people should be brought up on fucking trial for it.